"What do you think happened to them?" Hannah asked, standing next to Claire as they both observed the family. Her voice was soft enough to not be overheard. Shaking her head slowly, Claire surmised, "They're likely the refugees that the military found outside the fort." Chelsea's friend mentioned that they had run into people surviving outside the fort and were bringing them inside. The family was made up of a mother and father with a son and daughter, both looking like they should be attending elementary school instead of worrying about where their next meal was coming from. Though it's probably something common out in the world after society collapsed, Claire thought to herself. "Claire, please pick up your food," Darlena's voice called out to her. Jumping from her name being called, "I can't get used to that," Claire complained. She turned to go over to the pickup area. Waiting there was a tray with a large bowl that had several bones with thick meat attached to it. The broth was milky white with plenty of clear fat floating on top of the liquid. There was a bowl of rice and a small plate with what looked like cabbage covered in a red paste. Grabbing the tray, Claire felt her mouth beginning to water from the smell of the food. Moving away from the area, there was already another tray being presented and the robot's voice calling out for Hannah. Standing while holding the tray, Claire looked to see where they should sit. Though, just from what she could see, there were plenty of spaces available. Her eyes falling on the family she had observed earlier, an idea came to mind. Walking over to the table next to the family, Claire smiled when the daughter looked up at her. "Do you mind if my friend and I sit next to you?" she asked the girl. The girl blushed at the attention received, tilting her head down to look at the food. Next to the girl, the brother had a similar reaction. "They're a bit shy to strangers." The mother turned to apologize to Claire. Looking back at her kids, "You should say hello to Big Sister," she encouraged them. "It's fine. I used to be the same when I was their age," Claire lied, understanding that children couldn't help but be nervous around strangers, even more so after an apocalyptic event. She smiled at the two kids, hoping to appear friendly. The father, who sat next to the mother, bowed his head to Claire and Hannah. "They used to be more open to strangers," he tried to explain. Setting down her tray on the table, Claire raised a hand understandingly. "There's no need to worry," smiling at the children. "They look like they're enjoying the food." She tried to strike up a conversation. Sitting across from Claire, Hannah also gave a wave at the children after setting down her tray. The father made a hesitant smile. "After entering the shelter, we were told that there was a way for us to become stronger. Arriving in the guild, my wife and I thought it would be a good idea for the four of us to take up a job. We had entered the fort just before the attacks happened, so we hadn't had a chance to eat," the mother added. "Though we wanted to rest upon entering the shelter, we both thought that it was important to start right away, so we found a job immediately upon entering the simulation. This is our first meal in a while." The mother reached out to the daughter, who sat across from the woman, and lovingly touched the girl's arm, encouraging the girl to get back to eating. Seeing the family acting so close, Claire thought back to her parents and wondered whether they had entered the shelter. She felt tears beginning to form in her eyes, making her use her forearm to wipe them away before the family noticed. A hand on her arm startled her, eyes moving to see Hannah comforting her. Based on Hannah's eyes, it was evident that Hannah was thinking the same thing about her own parents and family members.